Hi BookTube. So it's Sunday and I'm doing my intentions here from my room just because it's where I am and I wanted to get this filmed on the day I'm supposed to film it as opposed to like the middle of the week. So intentions this week. I want to read as much of the Brothers Karamazov as I can. I want to get past the halfway point. So that means another 200, no, another, I'll say another 200 pages. I think it's actually something like 140 or pages I have to go to get to the center page, but hopefully we'll read 200 pages in that. I'm going to continue with The Future Home of the Living God, which is my audiobook. I also have the King of E series, which is a hardcover, actually, and it's in the living room. So that's there. And because it's a hardcover, and because Brothers Karamazov actually like involves like taking notes and stuff like that, I need another book that's like more portable. So this feels like a paperback. I just asked Google for the random numbers. It was bookshelf number 2, and in the cubes it was number 8 in the second book. I didn't have to move my couch, thankfully, to get this book out. So let's see what book it is. It is a orange. Oh, okay, I'm happy with this. It's upside down. It's a Tove Jansson book. It is Moominpapa at Sea. And I've read the comics, and I read Memoirs of Moominpapa like 1,000 times. It's one of my all-time favorite books. But I haven't read any of the other Moomin books. So yeah, Tove Jansson's Moominpapa at Sea. It's an old discarded library copy. I don't live in Toronto, so I don't mind showing you that address there. School of Librarianship. Discarded. Oh, it's got illustrations. Of course it does, because it's Moomin. So yeah, I look forward to diving into that. So my mom got me these 3D printed face shields for working. I've been having a lot of problems with the masks. I'm getting an allergic reaction, heat rashes, and they're really not effective the amount of times we reuse them and stuff. So I'm gonna try and wear this face shield while working. So fast.
I have been awake through dawn, listening to the low and secret calls of the doves in the trees behind the house. There is no wind, and the leaves are perfectly still. Phil is gone.
Okay, so I'm listening to Future Home of the Living God, which has a lot of parallels to what we're going through now. As in, it's kind of a natural thing happening that's gonna cause a lot of health issues, and people are panicking and hoarding food, and they're taking it to the extreme though, whereas like they're buying a bunch of like liquor and cigarettes and guns so that they can trade them once the economy collapses. So that's like extreme. But what's happening is that like pregnant women are being targeted, particularly because the babies are going to be born not human, but like past evolution of our ancestors. And so the government wants to take them for some reason. And our main character is obviously pregnant, and she's having to stay home alone. And I know a lot of people try to avoid these kind of stories and stuff when, you know, that situation's going on in the world. That's quite similar. But I'm actually enjoying it because there are times where I'm reading a book or watching a TV TV show, and I'm like, why are so many of you together all at once? No, go home and stay home. Be safe. You know, that's like just like a trigger in my brain goes off. Just like, no, stay home. But in this one, she's actually staying home. You know, and it's interesting to kind of have that familiar experience. Even though her reason is slightly different than ours, but it's still similar enough that it's interesting there. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it so far. There's a lot of questions that I'm like asking, and I'm looking forward to getting them answered. I love it when a book does that. When, you know, you are asking questions and, you know, hopefully getting answers of what's going on. My only problem is that maybe I don't know enough about science, but from what I think I know about science, I don't think it's possible for evolution to go backwards. But that's just, you know, my own personal thoughts. But, you know, you got to suspend your disbelief when you're reading things, science fiction, fantasy, and even just contemporary. Sometimes you gotta say, okay, like, what if, right? What if this happened? Yeah, so that's it. I'm just gonna keep driving down the highway to my patient's house now. I want to lie down, but there's a cat in the middle of the bed. And I can't move her, because she's too cute. Look at that face.
We take turns, one sitting by the door and listening to the noise in the hallway, the other weaving the rope. The one by the door stands up when someone's coming, and the weaver hides the rope. If it looks as though someone might come in the door, the lookout jumps into bed, and the weaver pretends to sleep too.
So I'm just at the end of my first part of my shift today. I'm working a split shift today, which means that I work morning and then I work evening as well. And this evening I start at 5. Just now it's just after 1, but by the time I get home it'll probably be like 1:30, and I'm just going to turn off here because there's some motorcycles behind me that I think want to go a bit faster than I'm going. They really shouldn't be out because we're not supposed to be driving unnecessarily. And I'm going to apologize for the angle too, because I lost my little clippy thingy that would go there to hold you. This is one of those weeks where I'm just so tired, man. I'm just so tired, and I just haven't been reading. Been listening to my audiobook, which is like, it's keeping me awake, thankfully, while I'm driving, because it's just so entertaining. Well, it's entertaining, but it's more just like, I need to know what's gonna happen, right? I need to know what's gonna happen with this baby, whether it's gonna be normal or not normal. It's Future Home of the Living God by LOUISE ERDRICH. I think I talked about it before. Yeah, but I don't know, something hit me this week that I've just been a little more stressed and tired than usual, and just my eyes aren't focusing on the page when I'm trying to read. And when I do read, I've been picking up the Moominpapa book more often because it's, you know, middle grade and it doesn't require as much thinking, even though there are lots of thought-provoking things happening. We meet the Groke in this series, which is pretty cool. She's this creature that's very lonely, and everywhere she goes, she's like surrounded by ice, and she freezes things around her just because she's so lonely. And it's very interesting. I'm looking forward to what they're gonna do with her, and hopefully have her not be so lonely anymore. And then I'm still dipping in and out of King of Ease. And I released a video a while ago about reading speeds and what affects your reading speeds. And I totally forgot, like, this size of the page totally affects your reading speed. Because I've just finished reading the 1,200 page Malazan book, which is a mass market paperback, so the pages are smaller. And reading all of a sudden this nice, thick, as in not just like number of pages, but like the pages are thick. Reading that is taking a lot more longer to finish one page than normal, just because the size of the page is so long. And the writing style is very, I guess you could call it dry. They're very concerned about historical detail and getting like geographical locations and descriptions of clothes and everything right. So I don't think it's a book for everyone, unfortunately, because the writing doesn't hold a lot of whimsy that the plot does. It's still one of my favorite books. I'm still really enjoying it because of like the storyline and the characters. I don't know if I explained King of Ease, so let me do that now. It's about this man named Gratulonius, and he's a centurion in the Roman army, stationed in Britain. Oh, it's a porcupine. Sorry, roadkill. Yeah, he's stationed in Britain, and he's being asked by the head honcho, who wants to become the next Caesar. They asked him to go to this magical city called Ease, which is just YS. And, sorry, too many people are out on the road today that shouldn't be. It's a nice day, and these roads are like scenic drives, so it's a bit distracting. I'm trying to pay attention to everyone here. And they want him to be like the ambassador to this city. But the problem is that this city's very insular. Jeez, guy, why are you on your motorcycle driving dangerously like that? The guy was just swerving. Where was I? Ease, right. It's so insular, and it doesn't let stories about it escape very often. So he goes here and suddenly discovers that, maybe I have to kill the king in order to become the king, so that I can get Rome's policies in place here. So he doesn't go with the goal of becoming king, and he doesn't know that also becoming king entails that he's going to inherit 9 witches for wives. And I mean witches in the fact that they're like women with magical powers. So that's really interesting. And then, as well, I remember while reading this, that this was the first fantasy novel that I read that had LGBT plus characters. And that 2 of the wives, I believe, have a relationship. And then he has a buddy that he uses quite a bit for messengers, for like as a messenger. And this person is also gay, and he Gratulonius worships Mithras, which is actually a lot like Christ's story, but there are a whole lot more rules, and it was very much against the culture and against his beliefs to be gay. But he loves this guy, like he's like, you're my best friend. So yeah, I can just see my mom's texting me like crazy right now. I'm not reading the messages, I'm just seeing it pop up. So I'm gonna pull over and see what's going on. So I guess I'll stop talking now. Go pull over first, turn off the phone, roll down the window, because it's hot. And I didn't want the wind to make too much noise while I was talking. It's Saturday, by the way.